The case I am doing is Snyder versus Phelps. This case was brought up in 2010 on March 8th and was debated and argued on October 6th. The issue involves whether Westboro Baptist Church signs and comments while picketing Matthew Snyder's funeral, which was considered a public concern and it was not entitled to greater protection under the free speech clause under the First Amendment. The case was eventually brought all the way up to the Supreme Court and was concluded on March 2nd, 2011. The case was about the Westboro Baptist Church picketing at the funeral of Matthew Snyder. Matthew was a U.S. corporal who was killed in duty in Iraq in 2006. And at the funeral, the Westboro Church continued to have signs saying "God hates the USA," "Thank God for 9/11," "Thank God for dead soldiers," and "Don't pray for the USA." Albert Snyder, who was the father of Matthew, did not see what the signs had said at the funeral, and later, when it was brought up after seeing them on a news story, he continued to sue Phelps and the Westboro Church, stating that the signs had caused him severe emotional distress and other things among that. The church was prepared to get sued beforehand and had told the police that they were going to pitch at the funeral and they were going to follow all police instructions when they came. The church continued to argue that their picketing was protected under the free speech clause in the First Amendment and could not be sued for it. The case was eventually brought up to the Supreme Court and debated. The court had decided that Snyder would get a $10.9 million win, which was later lowered by the judge to $5 million for the damage that was caused to him by the church. But the Westboro Church was not serving a lot of damage, as the signs that the church had displayed to the people at the funeral was protected under the First Amendment because it was not considered a matter of public concern or public property, or on public property, and was considered protected under the First Amendment with an 8-to-1 vote by the Supreme Court. My personal opinion on the case is that the Westboro Church should have never picketed at the funeral. Someone that had just died, and you don't know how the people at the funeral are feeling that day, and especially should not be picketing at a funeral because of a person that just died, and the people at the funeral should not have to hear or see those signs that were being displayed by the church. No matter what it is, no person, and especially a dead person should not be disrespected.